All right, let's see how much we can hit with this level 1 pistol. 33,000. 33,000 on a level 1 pistol. Fantastic. Hey guys, what's going on? Roundedtiktak here. First up, I'm sick. I'm still sick. I thought I beat the cold. I did not. It came back with a vengeance. I really don't feel too good, so apologies in advance if I sound weird or if I'm not looking too great. I'm not feeling too well. I have a pretty bad cold. Today we're going to be talking about Rex Jonesy, the brand new hero that just dropped out of the event store where you can pick him up right now. There is a lot to cover, so there's not going to be a long intro or anything. We're going to jump right into the build. There is a ton of stuff you can do with this hero. Should you pick him up? First question I get asked all the time. Absolutely. He actually is a meta changing hero where you're going to be playing a little differently. There are a ton of builds you can play with him, an absolute metric crap ton of builds you can play with him. So we're not even going to get into a specific build that makes him the best. I'm just going to show you a bunch of ideas that you can try and talk about why they work. And that's really it. I'm going to show you some cool gameplay, some cool stuff that we found, and everything in between. So this is it, Rex Jonesy. Let's check him out. So first up, what does he do here? He has an interesting ability. His perk is Saurian Might. If you use him as a commander, every 1 second adds 9% of current health to damage of next ranged weapon hit. This is important of next, and this is important every 1 second, because he actually has an internal cooldown on his perk. So what exactly is happening here is 1 second, like imagine a clock. You do 1 instance of damage, the clock resets, and then once it gets to that top of the hour again, or minute or second, you get to do the bonus damage again. It does not stack. It's not like you're getting every 1 second that you're in the game you get an extra 9% damage. That would be absolutely insane. With a 15-minute game, do the math. I know there's a lot of misinformation out there. Please know that that's not how it works at all. It's an internal cooldown. Every 1 second you get the bonus damage from the perk. Now the issue with Rex Jonesy is his kit is pretty terrible. Lefty and righty, Warcry, and frag grenade. If this was Shockwave, I would recommend this character every single time. He's a lot of fun to play, and like I said, he's kind of meta changing. Now, we all know how you have to combine this with Blast from the Past, and we're gonna have to put in Saurian Hide and Saurian Claws here for now. Eventually, when we get the new Outlander, you may want to change these up. This, only if you're doing a specific build, which we're going to talk about, is really beneficial to you, but in normal circumstances, it's not going to be. So that is his perk and exactly how it works, and how much damage can it actually do is up for debate. It depends on what hero you play, or what weapon you're going to use, the exact playstyle you want, but it's definitely changing the meta a little bit. Now, originally, when all of these hybrid heroes came out, I wasn't too big of a fan. You can check in my old videos. I always like to maximize 1 perk, so damage, and then have really bad attributes in the other classes. But Fortnite has been pushing this hybrid meta on us, and I gotta say that they actually did a pretty good job. You're going to have, in a max party, you're gonna have with like 1.4 million health, which provides you with a lot of tankiness. And if you watch my Survivalist Jonesy build, if you think of DPS as actually being able to do damage because you're still alive, then it increases your DPS almost exponentially. You cannot die because you have so much health, allowing you to stay up in the fight for much longer. when you run it like this in a full party without the shield, you still have almost triple the amount of effective health. Effective health, once again, is armor plus health and how much damage you're taking. You're gonna have an extra 33 armor with this hero here, and once again, Saurian Claws isn't that big of a deal for this specific build. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is, originally I was trying to use all 3 damaging perks. So we were talking about in a pinch, locked and reloaded, and maybe, you know, crit damage, assault crit damage, something like that. I'm still not 100% sure on exactly what build would be quote unquote best, so I'm not going to say it, but I am going to give you a bunch of ideas that you can play around with. You definitely are going to need going coconuts or survivalist. I personally like going coconuts. It heals you for like 1.3 million health per coconut. You do have to run around the map a little bit and farm the coconuts, and it takes up a weapon slot, but I feel like it's definitely worth it. You can face tank every single enemy in the game and just eat coconuts in front of you, which allows for a different play style where you can basically tank a mini boss or a smasher, kite them around the map, take all the damage, and out heal them again exponentially. Then, so that leaves us with Startup and Mad Tidings. But remember, you can put Survivalist here too. I originally tried to go 3 damaging perks, and even with a bunch of campfires, I was not being healed enough. So these last 2 perks are what we need to talk about. Now, this is depending on the character or the weapon you plan on using, but there is a specific kind of weapon you're looking for with him. I personally am really liking Startup and Mad Tidings. At full stacks, it gives you 75% extra damage at all times. Since Saurian Might gives you extra damage at all times as long as you have, you know, more health, or even if not more health, but the max amount of damage at max health, you don't have to rely on crit chance. You don't have to rely on crit damage. It is very consistent DPS, very, very consistent. Startup and Mad Tidings, especially if you're using an LMG or anything with over like 50, 60 bullets. So we're looking at the Wraith, we're looking at the Hacksaw, Mercury LMG, something like that, the Candy Corn Launcher, any of that works really, really well here. However, you do not have to play it this way. You can change it to something like 6-shooter and Swash and Buckle, and then you can run around with a pistol and a Corsair and get the extra pistol damage and crit damage. You can run this with 2 Outlanders for the bonus, make it count, and hip shot. You can do it this way and use a sword to apply Saurian Claws, and then you can use the Jack's Revenge here. You can change this up and just do something simple like this, and this is just a very, very basic build where you would do assault crit damage, and then you put Havoc here, and you just get extra damage on top of everything because most of your guns are probably rolled crit chance, crit damage. This is completely fine. Now, feel free to experiment and check out what you like and see what you like the absolute best. I'm not 100% sure because the perk is broken currently, so it's very hard to figure out exactly what might be the best. But like I said, it changes your play style. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of questions aren't you going to be doing more damage with just Mad Tidings or Nutcracker or just Sledgehammer as your commander? And the answer is yes. You will be doing, in the long run, you will end up getting more damage out of the build. If you don't plan on using Blast from the Past, you can use Preemptive Strike, you can use the Night one, you can use Hunter's Instinct and get more base damage. But if you plan on doing any kind of content that is above level 140, the extra tankiness this build provides is really the way to go, in my opinion. In fact, when I switch to a regular character, it is very, very noticeable. The amount of bonus damage you get from this build is well worth the trade-off for the extra health that you get. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The amount of bonus damage you lose using this build, as instead of using Sledgehammer as your main hero, is definitely worth the trade-off here for how much health you actually get and how much effective health and how tanky you are and able to run around the map, eat a coconut, get full health, and continue fighting. It's a very fun build to try out. It's a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. Let's get into some more detailed examples here. So what kind of weapon should you use with Rex Jonesy? Now, there is an argument depending on those last two perks you bring. Granted, if you're bringing Mad Tidings and Startup, you want a larger magazine. If you're not, you may not. But for the most part, you're looking for slower firing weapons, but not too slow. You want something like the Wraith, the Duet, the Hammer Crush, the Rat King. Stuff like that is really what you're looking for. The reason behind it is if you have a weapon like the Silent Spectre that shoots 12 bullets per second, it shoots too fast to reset that internal cooldown and you'll lose out on some damage. You technically are only getting 6 of those bullets that would hit at maximum damage. So the Wraith with the slower fire rate, the Duet with the slower fire rate seems to be a little bit better with utilizing the perk to its maximum efficiency. Now, another thing to make sure you take note of is that currently the weapon is ignoring elemental effects on enemies. So if you use a physical weapon, instead of hitting for 50% less damage, you're actually going to be hitting him for maximum damage. Now, this is where the build is actually kind of broken. That is an extra 44% damage on every single one of your guns as long as they're rolled physical. It seems to work with energy. Fire doesn't matter. This fire hacksaw you see should not be hitting for 20,000 damage on this specific ice smasher. In this clip, I am using a Ginger Blaster, a physical Ginger Blaster. The bonus damage alone from the 9% of max health that I have should be 65,996. Now, if we take the base damage of the Ginger Blaster for 25,046 minus 50% of that because it's physical plus 9% extra damage based on health, I should be hitting for 78,519. Or if the base damage ignores the element, I should be hitting for 91,042. Now, in that clip, real quick, I do get a 91,000 number, which is pretty similar to what we're looking for. But right here, you can see me hitting for about 48,000, 54,000 on a crit, 80,000 on the crit. The numbers are all over the place. It's really hard to get a concise feeling of exactly how this works. Again, 88,000, and then right here, I believe is the 91K, but it's a headshot, I'm pretty sure, which makes the math even more confusing to figure out. So it definitely has its benefits. It's definitely ignoring something some of the times, but it looks to be hitting for about 46,000 on this particular weapon most times. Now, another thing that you can do and check out is you can use lower level weapons and still get an insane amount of damage. You can use a level 1 pistol that hits for 30,000. You can use an 82 stabs worth on Luna, which is a similar playstyle, and hit for 177k. Or if you're just cheap on your materials and don't really feel like using stuff, or you're not doing a very difficult mission, feel free to use a Shadow Shard weapon, a Malachite weapon. You still will be doing an insane amount of damage because the number is based off of your health. So that's really it, guys. Those are the things to keep in mind. Play style wise, it's definitely a change of pace. You're going to be face tanking a lot of enemies. You're going to be healing a lot if you bring survivalist or going coconuts. Make sure to get the best bang for your buck. If you like this playstyle, currently make your weapon physical because it ignores some sort of elemental effect on the husks. If you feel like it, use lower level weapons. That is fine because the damage again is based off your health. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys like to play. What did you come up with that you really like or dislike? Let me know if I missed anything and we can have a conversation about it. If you guys want to check me out live, it's at twitch.tv/RoundedTiktak. If you guys want to use my supporter creator code, it is OOTikTok00. And if you just want to join the Discord, if you're looking for people to play with, the link will be in the description. We would love to have you. Next up is Dino Luna and exactly what you can do with that build. It's even crazier than this. That'll be out later tonight or tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Tiktak out.